For 20 long years, the Galactic Council tried to contact Earth. Messages were sent every month. Warnings were broadcast across every channel. Invitations to meetings were delivered again and again. But Earth never answered, not a single word. To the galaxy, this silence felt unnatural. Even dangerous delegates whispered in shadowed halls. Some believed Earth had collapsed. Others claimed humans were hiding a terrible secret. A few even said Earth had become a ghost world, destroyed by its own technology. No one knew the truth, and that made every species uneasy. During the latest Grand Summit, the Council finally reached a decision. They would remove Earth from all political records. Any species that refused to communicate for 2 decades was considered lost. The vote was minutes away. But then every light in the council chamber flickered. At first, the delegates thought it was a power glitch. Then the main holoscreen turned dark, as if something enormous was blocking the signal. A deep rumble echoed across the station. It wasn't sound. It was pressure on space itself, like reality had been pushed aside. A warning officer screamed, "We are detecting movement at the border of council space." The chamber filled with chatter and fear. No ship was scheduled to arrive. No species had permission to enter that deep. Another officer shouted, "Multiple contacts, thousands moving in formation." Silence fell instantly. The holoscreen blinked back on. A single message appeared, cold, simple, and unmistakably human. "Earth is coming." Delegates froze. Heartbeats stopped. Nobody understood what it meant. Earth had been silent for decades. Now, it sent only a short warning. A senior ambassador whispered, trembling, "Why did Earth stay silent so long? And what are they bringing with them?" The part ends as the sensors detect something massive approaching. Too large to be peaceful. Panic spread through the Galactic Council as officers struggled to read the incoming data. The screens shook with so many signatures that some delegates thought the system had broken. But it wasn't an error. It was real, far too real. On the outer border, space itself seemed to bend. Patrol ships sent rushed reports before their signals cut off. Every message carried the same terrifying phrase, "They are too many." The council demanded details, but the truth arrived slowly, like a nightmare forming in the dark. A massive object appeared first, bigger than any dreadnought known to the galaxy. Then another, and another. Soon, the scanners revealed the impossible. 2,000 human warships. They moved with perfect discipline, like a single living creature. Their formation did not break. Their engines burned with deep blue fire that twisted the vacuum around them. Their hulls had sharp edges, heavy armor, and unknown energy patterns glowing under the metal. Delegates gasped as higher-resolution scans arrived. These ships weren't simple upgrades. They were generations ahead ships. No one believed humanity could build humans advanced this far. A lizard-like ambassador whispered. A nervous scientist shook his head. Even if they worked non-stop for 20 years, this is impossible. But nothing about Earth had ever fit neatly into alien logic. Multiple council ships attempted peaceful contact. Their messages echoed through space. Human fleet, identify yourselves. Earth, state your purpose. Humanity, this is a restricted zone. No reply. The human fleet continued forward, silent as a grave. As the formation approached, the council noticed strange vessels mixed among the warships. Alien-like shapes, experimental curves, unknown alloys, things Earth was never supposed to understand. One officer choked out the words. They were silent because they were preparing. The part ends as the flagship powers up a massive energy field, one the galaxy has never seen before. The galactic capital had seen many fleets in its long history, but nothing compared to what arrived that day. As the human armada drew closer, its shadow spread across the sky like a rising storm. Civilians ran to windows. Soldiers froze at their posts. Even the council's elite guard whispered prayers. Then, the first human dreadnought slipped into orbit. It was enormous, so large that its metallic surface reflected the entire capital city below. Towers, cloud layers, and the planet's oceans shimmered across its dark armor. Moments later, hundreds more ships appeared behind it. until the sky turned into a sea of metal and blue fire. No one had ever seen humans display power so openly. Inside the council chamber, alarms howled. Officers scrambled to translate the new signal coming from the lead ship. The transmission was short, firm, and carried the unmistakable tone of human command. Humanity speaks now. The entire chamber went silent. The message continued, slow and steady. Like a warning carved into stone, we watched your decisions, we studied your wars, and we prepared for what you feared the most. Delegates exchanged terrified looks. What danger had Earth discovered? Why build a warfleet of this size? The human dreadnought glowed with strange energy at its core, swirling. Blue-white power the Council had never documented. Scientists pushed closer to the screens, whispering theories. Is it a new engine? Or a weapon? Or something worse? Suddenly, the dreadnought's front armor split open, revealing a massive chamber filled with rotating rings of light. Ancient symbols flickered inside the glow, as if the ship held a secret door to another world. The Council backed away from the screen. Final line appeared in the transmission. Do not fear us. Fear what follows us. Ends as the dreadnought begins lowering a mysterious gateway toward the capital, sparking fear across the galaxy. The mysterious gateway lowered slowly from the human dreadnought, its rings spinning with blue-white energy. Every delegate inside the Galactic Council could feel the air grow heavier, as if the room itself understood something terrible was coming. No one breathed. No one spoke. All eyes stayed locked on the colossal screen. Then the gateway activated. A shimmering window opened, showing a dark, dying star system far from any known map. At first, the image looked like a grainy transmission, but as the focus sharpened, gasps filled the chamber. Entire planets hung shattered in space. Moons cracked. Stars dimmed. Space itself looked wounded. A calm human voice echoed through the hall. This is what destroyed the Caileron cluster. Delegates froze. That cluster had vanished 20 years ago. No one ever discovered why. The humans continued. We call them the Outer Swarm. The image changed again, revealing millions of black insect-like ships moving through space like living shadows. Their bodies pulsed with red energy, and every ship merged into the next, forming a monstrous wave. A council ambassador choked. These things are not natural. Another whispered, we have no weapons strong enough. The human voice replied, as if hearing them. Exactly. That is why we remained silent. The room trembled as the truth settled in. While the galaxy argued in endless meetings, Earth had been fighting alone far outside the borders, far from help, far from hope, but the truth was only beginning. Suddenly, several alien warlords in the chamber stood up, furious. They accused Earth of lying, of manipulating data, of fabricating a threat to seize power. Without waiting for approval, their ships outside turned toward the human fleet and opened fire. Bright beams hit the human dreadnought and vanished. The council stared in horror. The human shields didn't even flicker. The moment the human commander sent his chilling warning, the entire chamber fell silent. But out in deep space, silence did not last long. A violent tear appeared at the edge of the system, like someone slicing open the fabric of the galaxy. The stars behind it twisted and stretched. Light shook. Gravity pulsed like a heartbeat. Then the nightmare emerged. Millions of swarm ships poured through the rift, spreading across the void like living fire. Their red glowing bodies buzzed with a terrible hunger. Their movements were fast, unnatural, almost insect-like. Every council officer watching felt the same cold truth. This was an extinction force. Panic hit the galactic capital instantly. Civilian ships scattered. Defense cannons powered up. The council fleet scrambled into a loose formation, hundreds of ships, trembling before billions of enemies. But one fleet did not panic, the human armada, as the swarm advanced. The 2,000 human warships moved with perfect unity. Their engines flared blue. Their hulls locked into formation. From above the capital, the human dreadnought broadcast a final message. We fight now. The battle ignited in a blinding flash. Human gravity spears tore through entire clusters of swarm ships. crushing them into nothing. Blue core cannons blasted shockwaves that pushed the enemy back like a storm wind. Void pulse missiles erupted in swirling explosions that bent light around them. Every attack was precise, controlled, and deadly. The Council fleet fired as well, but their weapons seemed weak compared to humanity's terrifying power. Even so, the swarm kept coming. Their number was endless. Every one destroyed was replaced by 10 more. Space became a battlefield of steel and shadows, blue fire and red fury. Inside the council chamber, fear transformed into awe. They watched humans fight with a level of discipline and courage no species could match. The human dreadnought drifted forward, its core glowing brighter than any star in the system. Inside the council chamber, everyone stared at the screen as the ship's armored plates shifted open, revealing a gigantic crystal lens. Streams of sunlight collected from Earth's own sun through quantum relays swirled inside it like golden fire. The voice of the human commander echoed across every channel. "This is the Soul Hammer. Clear the path." Even the bravest council admirals ordered their fleets to pull back. No one had ever seen a weapon collect the power of a star. The swarm, sensing danger, swarmed toward the dreadnought in a desperate wave. Billions of red lights blinked in the darkness, rushing like a storm, but the humans did not retreat. They stood firm. The Soul Hammer released. A colossal beam of golden white light erupted, sweeping across space like the hand of a god. The swarm ships disintegrated, instantly melting, evaporating, vanishing into ash. The rift that carried them into the system cracked apart, then collapsed under the force of the beam. In seconds, the invasion died. The galaxy was safe. Silence followed. Pure heavy silence. When the beam finally faded, the human fleet hovered calmly, 2,000 ships glowing under the scattered starlight. The council chamber erupted with emotions: fear, awe, relief, and deep respect. Moments later, the massive doors of the council hall opened. A human delegation entered. Every species rose to their feet, not out of fear, but honor. The human commander spoke softly. "We did not stay silent because we wanted power. We stayed silent because the galaxy needed protection and no one else was ready." No one argued. No one questioned. The council restored Earth's status and named humanity the guardian race of the galaxy. As news spread, one message echoed across every world: Earth was silent, but never weak. The story ends with the human Warfleet turning toward the stars, ready for whatever comes next.